Hey, you seen The Harder They Fall? Yeah, I seen it. Yo, that movie was so amazing. It was so good. Oh my God, the cast did such a good job. It was, oh, I can't wait to watch it again. I done watched it 3 times already. It was just that good. Right. Right. Stop.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss The Harder They Fall. Now, this movie is available on Netflix. It stars Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, so many people here. Now, before I get into why I was so excited to see this film, what I loved about this film, and what I absolutely did not like, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm gonna give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're gonna come back and discuss all things black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black of the black, black of the black. You know, we see black of the black on black of the black because I'm black and I'm back. We get excited, and why shouldn't we? You know, we get real excited, and then we get real courteous with how good the movie was, because it was black of the black. It was black. It was bad, but it was alright. To see more of me, let's get into this movie. Now, before we jump into the movie, let's spend like 2 seconds on westerns. I am a spaghetti western, old Wild Wild West, you know, Shane, the Django, True Grit, the Buck and the Preacher, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Magnificent, Unforgiven, all of that good John Wayne, Clint Eastwood goodness. I'm here for it. I love a good Western story. Most of the time, they're really, you know, rustic feeling, really gritty. There's, you know, always this ruthless, hardened character to root for, the showdowns, the saloons, the quick draws. The stories normally have a lot of depth and heart, some comedy, great writing, a lesson in the end. And most importantly, they always have this high rewatch quality. This was not here. Now, one thing that was here that I was really anticipating with this film was us getting to see black cowboys and just that whole Western film. We get all those films, all those throwbacks, you know, you know, we get all of that. And a lot of the times, we are nowhere to be found. A lot of the, you know, presidents that was set back then for what, you know, black people were doing with communities and building towns and investing and all this other great stuff, we don't get to see depicted on screen. So for us to get something outside of the Django and Posse and the Buck and the Preacher, because it's very rare that we get a Western that has, you know, a sprinkle of black people in it. We have it here with an all-black cast. What's not to be excited about? I was looking forward to this film. Did it deliver on all fronts? No. Now, getting into why this movie might not have delivered on all fronts, we have to get into the director, the producer, the writer, all done by the same man, Mr. James Samuels. Now, this guy does not have a lot of credits to his name as far as, you know, film is concerned. He's not, you know, really known for his directing, his writing, his film credits. He's known for songwriting and producing, which is why I am sure the best thing about this movie to me was the music and why I was vibing with it so hard, because that's his expertise. He also, you know, did music for the Great Gatsby film. Really talented dude. Now, though we may have a lot of big names attached to this movie behind the scenes, this is his baby. He, you know, he wrote it, he produced it, he directed. Everybody doesn't have it in them to be, you know, that 40 Acres and a Mule. Everybody can't be Spike Lee, especially with this pretty much, besides, you know, some short film that's also a Western. This is pretty much his first legit full-length film, and we're gonna get into the length. This is the first, like, you just, you know, getting out there. It's nothing wrong with getting some assistance, especially in the writing department. We're gonna get into that. But, you know, everybody doesn't have, not that, you know, clearly from this film and from the other credits that he may have, there is a lot of talent here. But just, you know, initially first out the gate, I do feel like he could have used some assistance on the writing and maybe, you know, some of the visuals and things here. But for the most part, this is not a bad looking film. You can tell where, you know, a couple of shortcuts were taken and maybe some things were lacking, and it doesn't really pull you fully into this being a die-hard Western. Sometimes this just kind of gives the feel of a contemporary movie that's like having a Western flashback. So I don't know, it's not really giving, and the dialogue doesn't really add much to that, but it's not giving me that grit, old, you know, showdown Western that I love, you know, where everybody just look funky, stinking hot, sweating, musty, beard, spit. It don't stink. It don't stink. Now, after we forgive, you know, a couple of the scenes, you know, looking like pop-up Westerns, that's not the point. We did not come here much for the atmosphere. Though it adds so much to the film and it did lack here, we didn't come for that. I came here for the same reason everybody else did. Looking at the roster of actors, it was like, oh, y'all got who? Say what now? Y'all can't miss with that. How can we miss with that? We can. I also flopped when I found out, like, oh, these are based on real characters. This is a real, you know, Cuffy. This is a real Mary. These are real people. But when you find out that, you know, the story that we're following didn't for the most part happen, so it's kind of a made-up story with you know, real life characters, and that's really unfortunate, because then we get into, you know, the physicalities of the thing, and it's just like, okay, well, why is she portraying, you know, this larger dark-skinned woman? What's going on here? It just brings up questions that we didn't need those questions. You could have made up your own story. Now, I do feel like maybe James was trying to bring these, you know, cowboys and people, you know, from back then that we may not just know about to the forefront. But if we're gonna do that, let's make a real story surrounding them. Why are we just making shit up? And even if we did, I was not feeling, you know, Zaza Beetz coming in and portraying this woman like, I don't know why I was seeing like a larger, like, you know, like Tasty from Orange is the New Black. It was giving Tasty, like, just with we're gonna get into the characters, just with what she needed to, you know, convey as an actress, and, you know, the stunt work that needed to be done, like the level of that she needed, you know what I'm saying? Mary was, you know, she would get out there. I felt like it would have been really beneficial for us to see a, you know, strong, beautiful, larger Black woman. But we didn't get that here. And that's okay, because, you know, they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. Now, as soon as the movie started, the writing was lacking. Now, we do open with that really strong scene of, you know, the mysterious guy coming in. We can't really see his face. We don't really know who it is, even though we know who it is. And, you know, him seeking vengeance, you know, killing the whole family and leaving the son alive. It was very much so giving, you know, Kill Bill. It was giving me predictable vibes. I was just feeling like either there was, you know, gonna be some type of connection, because, you know, nobody just leaves someone alive, or I really throughout this movie thought that Idris' character was, you know, an ill-fated, you know, husband who had been crossed, and you know, the woman had went on and moved on with the husband, and that Jonathan Majors character was, you know, maybe his son. And I just knew that there was some type of connection there, though I was not correct, you know, with the ending that we got, but I knew there was something. Everything here was giving predictable, but we do open with that really, you know, great scene that's just like, you know, we're not taking any prisoners, we're killing in the first 2 seconds. We can only go up from here. We did not with the characters. We literally got that first opening scene, and from there we had so much time. This movie is almost 2.5 hours long. We had all those time to, you know, build up all these characters, really get us invested, really, you know, come through with the strong suit of, you know, especially in Westerns, when we get to, you know, have these characters who may, you know, not have the greatest backstory, you know, they're gritty, they're hardened, they're ruthless, they could be all these things, but you find yourself rooting for them and falling in love with them every single scene as the movie goes. Like, you love them even though they may be an ain't shit ass character. That was not here for me, and that's what I want in a Western. Getting into Jonathan Majors here, I was so happy to see him here, especially since we're not going to get any more Lovecraft Country. I was so happy to see him here. He delivers. He has, you know, a lot of screen presence. And for the most part, where was it here? Where was it here? With the writing and what he had to work with, and him, you know, being our leading man here, it just was not giving. Now, with what the material, you know, he was given to work with, he did what he could. He did a great job with that. But just the writing and the pacing and us jumping from, you know, the family being killed in the beginning, and, you know, us pretty much going on this route of vengeance with him, which I really wish we got to see, you know, him killing off person after person. We did get that brief thing, you know, with the priest, just to let us know, you know, what his agenda was. And, you know, he's always been after this, you know, specific man who left, you know, the cross in his forehead, and he's seeking vengeance, and that's just been his life goal, to take out everyone, you know, who wronged him and killed the family, all while becoming this, you know, notorious, you know, bank robber and this thing. Like, all of these things come with him, but it just was not giving. And with our main character not giving, we're left with, you know, our surrounding characters, and they were giving, right? Now we get into our supporting cast. Of course, we have Stagecoach Mary. You know, she's, you know, some kind of unrequited love as far as, you know, Jonathan Majors' character is, you know, concerned. They have this back and forth, this little banter. Will they or won't they? I don't like. The writing was, you know, giving confusing and kind of made you not like Stagecoach Mary. You know, by the time we got to, you know, her riding off and going into the town by herself and getting captured, and it was all, you know, about saving Mary. Like, it was just like, girl, get your dumb, who the fuck, you know, it was very much, you know, giving, you know, sexy versus, you know, when you see the real character, though this is a real character, but we're not using real storyline, you get, you know, really gritty, really hard. So when you get that action impactful, that weight that Stagecoach Mary is supposed to, you know, carry around with her as is to go, ain't shit to play with, Zazie Beetz was not really, she was cute. Then we get into characters like Delroy Lindo. I love me some Delroy Lindo. Crooklyn, love me some Delroy. Delroy did really great here. He did really great with what he had. He's always gonna do good. It's fucking Delroy. Then we get into characters like our Lakeith with, you know, the minimum screen time that he had, and, you know, the one-liners that he had, you know, him being a little crooked as to, you know, hey, I'm not waiting for the showdown. You talk too much about the black cow right now, mid-sentence. I loved his character. I really wanted a whole lot more of his character. I think Lakeith did amazing. I love the way he carried himself. I love, you know, the dialogue that he had to say. I thought he was well written, but like majority of the cast, nobody was like really flushed out, and we had so much time to do it, so I don't want to hear about why we couldn't do it. And we even get into people like Cuffy, Bad Mama Jama standing at the door. amazing. She carried so much weight with her throughout this film. I love, you know, the tone of voice that she had. I love, you know, kind of that masculine energy that she had, though it wasn't, you know, overpowering to make it seem like, you know, she was trying to be something that she wasn't. It was just like, no, this is me. You come here, you give me your gun, you don't, I'm knocking you the fuck out. Like, very, you know, kind of protective, kind of tongue-in-cheek with Stagecoach Mary. You know, it was, she did so good here. You know, those scenes that we get with her, you know, dropping knowledge about, you know, being mindful of, you know, how you move. We don't need to be flashy. You know, that scene where, you know, she has to kind of come out of her body, put on a dress at home. She did great. That really, you know, great impactful standoff situation she has with Lakeith at the end. Really great. She did so good. And then we have, you know, like Bill Pickett and his brother. Bill Pickett, I was, you know, neutral about. He was, you know, he was okay. The brother, just little Jim, little talk shit. Just put shoot me on my back. Like, that was the main problem that I had with a lot of the characters here and with the writing and the pacing. It did a very bad job of really getting us not only invested in the characters, but it was predictable enough for us to know, okay, you're gonna die, you're expendable, you're gonna die. Like, if Lil Baby could have just, you know, put like all the flashiness of it, the vernacular, the talking, the speeches, the I'm quick, who's quicker, all of that little back and forth, it was cute, but it really just put a target on him for us as an audience to know that he was gonna die. I didn't want to know that right away. If you're gonna take anybody, you take dumbass Stagecoach Mary. Take her. Not little Jim. Don't take Jimmy. Don't do that. Then we get into the heavyweights. We get into Miss Regina King and Idris Elba. Idris Elba here was, you know, written really confusing. His whole, you know, situation of, you know, trying to go back to the town and, you know, his money being taken, and it's like, you know, I'm trying to save the town and preserve what we have, but I'm also hitting everybody up for cash, and if you don't want to pay, you don't want to contribute, I'm taking you out. I need this 25. I'm trying to, you know, low-key be the sheriff, but also be a ruthless asshole. It was cute or whatever. I was still, you know, Idris is always going to do a good job. Every actor here is, you know, pretty great in their own right, but, you know, with Idris and Jonathan Majors, I always expect a whole lot more, especially for a vet like Idris. Idris did well with what he had, but the writing just didn't allow him to go very far. You know, we get to see him fuck a couple of people up. We get to see him, you know, be rescued and everything on the train and all that other good stuff. But then after that, it's just kind of like a waiting game, because you're really waiting for that showdown to happen, for Jonathan Majors' characters to really, you know, get down there, seek his vengeance, you know, that big showdown, that big moment. But it takes, you know, to the very end of, you know, the story for us to get there. So in the meantime, we're left with, you know, characters that aren't fleshed out, you know, a lot of talking, some dumbass songs, you know, dumbass moments of people, you know, hey, no, this is my fight, not yours. Go on, you know, live your life. Take, you know, we got a lot of that, and it just didn't add to a bitch ass thing. I felt like, you know, with the Delroy Lindo and the Jonathan Majors character, they were kind of trying to give us, you know, the Django, you know, and the German guy, that whole thing, that whole, you know, Kendrick ship, that it was not there. It was not working. It was cute. I mean, Delroy gonna do what Delroy needs to do, but it just was not enough. So Idris, you know, was there, and it was cool, and it was ruthless, and, you know, but it just, when it came down to it, it wasn't enough. Then we get into Boulder Hat Guy. It's Boulder Hat Guy, Boulder Hat Guy. We get into goddamn Regina King and her goddamn hat. Now, there has like never been a true moment where I felt like, Regina, what the hell's going on, baby? What you doing? This was one of those moments. This was one of those moments. I don't know what was going on, but the accent was throwing me for a loop with Miss Regina King. It was making me itch. I didn't understand what was going on with that? Like it was connecting at times, and then other times it seemed forced, and it was really taking me out of the moment and her being the hard ass that she was trying to portray. Like it was really, really hitting, like, you know, when she had that scene with Stagecoach Mary, and, you know, she's peeling the apple and she's telling the story about her sister. The accent was hitting at those moments. And then we have moments like, you know, where they're standing off and she's, you know, yelling and, you know, hey, come and get her. And, you know, moments like kind of, you know, like with the train, the accent was like, it was, I don't know. It was taking me out of the moment. And then we're stuck with this dumbass Boulder Hat Guy. You know, we were in, it was just not, I wanted more. If Regina and Idris were supposed to be these badasses, why are we writing it to where we're trying to give them redeemable qualities that, you know, oh, they're badasses, you know, they kill people, I shoot people for fun, but we're, you know, trying to take care of this town that we're really trying to take from, but we're, what? And then we get into Jonathan Majors' character. It was just, the movie just seemed to go on, and I really think it would have benefited if we could have, you know, took it back. We could have took back an extra 30 minutes or so. We could have wheeled it in. We could have wheeled it in a whole lot. So at the end, with, you know, not much of the atmosphere being there, and, you know, us having situations like, okay, yeah, I need you guys to get the money. I need you to rob a white bank. We can go in this white bank, but we can't, you know, really kill anybody because we wouldn't want to kill no white people. You know what I'm saying? You know, it just, it wasn't giving old throwback Wild Wild West, because, you know, we just killing and hanging everybody because that's just what we do. It wasn't giving. So then we're just stuck with trying to rescue Stagecoach Mary because, you know, you like her and you want to marry her, though the feeling isn't mutual. But even though it's not mutual, she takes out the time to, you know, risk her life and go to the town for you and try. I was gonna say who wrote this, but we know who wrote this. But it just wasn't flowing. So with that, and, you know, the standoffs happening, and, you know, oh, you shot him before, and you know, Stagecoach, you know, I got this one, I'm taking her, I can handle Regina type shit. Like, okay, yeah, girl, whatever. But with that, and us kind of just, I was just like, don't kill Cuffy. I like Cuffy. They ain't gonna kill Cuffy, right? Because that's the only character that I could muster up, you know, some care for. And that's saying a lot with all the talent that we had on screen. I was like, you know, if she makes it, I'm cool. Hell, if Lakeith make it, I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, don't kill the people that I'm following and I'm interested in. Everybody else, you can take Regina, you can take Stagecoach Felicia, you can take, hell, you can really take Jonathan. But we end off with, you know, everybody pretty much being dead at this point. And, you know, we don't know if Regina's dead, though. We're going to get to that. And we end off with, you know, Jonathan finally being able to go in. And, you know, we came to this moment that we've waited for 2 hours now. We get in there and there's this whole, you know, dramatic pause. And I was waiting for this pause because I was like, okay, he about to tell him, Luke, I am your father. It was not that. We come all the way off and we're supposed to have this, you know, grand, shocking moment that your father was my father. And, you know, he was this, you know, sick, abusive type of man who left, you know, my mom, killed this person, killed my mom. And I came back and, you know, sought vengeance and did the same thing to your family, killing him and leaving you so you could come. Everything he wanted, you know, you to not turn into, you became that courtesy of me, you know, shoot me. You're just as ruthless as I am, you know. It was like, you know, close but no cigar. Like, it was just like, oh, like, wow, you know, it didn't hit the way that I needed it to hit. So I was like, oh, that's interesting, that's nice. But I thought, you know, well, at least at this moment we're going to make our Jonathan character that redeemable old Wild Wild West guy that we love in movies so much. No, he takes a deep breath and blasts the fuck out of Idris' character. Like, he was like, nope, yep, I might be that. Killed him. I was like, oh, okay, so, okay, Idris proved his point. And, you know, we just end off, you know, with conveniently, you know, oh, this is gonna be buried and we're gonna just, you know, put the tomb on it like it's him and you guys are officially dead, and you know, they kind of ride off into the sunset, and we get another appearance from Boulder Hat Guy that, you know, hey, there's probably gonna be a 2 because Boulder Hat Guy did not die. After all that fighting in the pretty colors, she didn't die. Okay. This was, if you couldn't already tell, I don't want anyone to go in and feel like this is a bashing moment for me. There were really strong suits to where this movie was enjoyable, but they were too far few and in between. And I found myself enjoying most of my moments, you know, with Cuffy, with Lakeith, a couple, you know, with Idris and, you know, Deon Cole's character and him coming to Deon Cole did a great job here. And, you know, him coming, you know, to get the town and all that was, you know, a little bit there. But for the latter part of this movie, I was kind of dozing off, y'all. I was kind of out of it. I was like, oh, still going, huh? We're still going. Like, I just expected more. And I think with my expectations being a little too high, I was, you know, I disappointed myself. Like, don't just think, you know, just going in just because it's an all-black cast, the writing and the production is just going to be immaculate. That might not be the case. But even with that, I always expect for the writing to be on point, because I'm like, we only get one. We don't get a lot of, which I'm hoping changes, that we do get more movies like this to depict, you know, hey, we were there, you know, but I hope we get more of that. Let's bring back, you know, lots of, you know, movies with all black cast. But I just want it to be executed so well, just to be like, yes, we did that shit. This was, you know, an enjoyable movie, but it's not something that I would go back and watch again. And me loving a good Western, I will go back and watch them shits again. And I wouldn't go back and watch this again. I wouldn't. Would I be interested in a part 2? I mean, maybe if they, you know, flesh things out more and do things differently than they did here, maybe I would. But just, you know, right now, it was cute. Well, you guys, that was my review for The Harder They Fall. No, this was not, you know, my normal play-by-play review that I love to give, because, you know, I will talk. This was not that. I didn't, you know, want to spend too much time on this movie just bashing every single thing that I did not like, because it just, come on now, this, we like Spider-Man, everybody gets one. We only get one. So I decided to just, you know, kind of enjoy the movie for what it was. And the music for the movie was slamming. Stick to the music, James, or, you know, get a couple more writers in there, you know. But, you know, it was a nice effort, and I am for the most part looking forward to what James Samuels has to offer, because, you know, this could, you know, be a learning lesson, and, you know, his second attempt or third may be fucking amazing. Who knows? But that was my review for this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I see you guys for my next review. Bye.